Hello everybody, my name's Wade once again. Now that we're all familiar with all the tools that you use for golf, how to play the game of golf, the history of the game, instruction, and etc., all the tools you need for the game, now we're going to jump into how you actually apply the knowledge we just talked about into actually playing the game of golf, taking it to the course. So this presentation is called The Shot. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the grip. Then we're going to talk about the setup. And then we're going to talk about the actual swing. And then I'm going to do a demonstration through video with one of the top 3 instructors in the world. And then we're going to go over faults and fixes after that. Just kind of give you an idea of what he's talking about and what I'm talking about. Does anybody have any questions before we kick the presentation off at all about anything that you might have learned in the previous presentation or anything that's going to be mentioned at all?
No, we'll just see what you have on the video.
Okay, great. All right. First of all, we're going to talk about the grip. And believe it or not, each club is actually different when it comes to making a grip. For example, this is the driver. This is the longest club in your bag. And this is the longest of any club in the bag, period, no matter what you use. This is a 8.5 degree. That's the loft on this club. The only thing that's got less loft is my putter, which in this case it's 4 degrees. What this is designed to do is, this is designed to hit your ball the farthest of any club in the bag. And the ironic thing is that the lightest club in the bag hits it further than the heaviest club in the bag, which is your putter. So that's kind of ironic, I always thought. But this club right here is always used on the tee box, and if you're on a long par 5, then you can actually use it again. Every now and then I'll use this, hitting this off the deck on the ground if I have a longer ways to go and I can't get there with my 3-wood, etc. Now the grip, there's 2 types of grips, and the first one is interlocking and the next one is overlapping. And if you can see real close here, Robert Allen, if you all can see, I'm sure, this is the interlocking grip. This is your most popular grip. This is the grip that I use as well. Then you just have your standard overlapping grip where the pinky overlaps the index finger. That's if you're a right-handed player. Okay? Those are your 2 grips. Now, as far as the firmness of your grip with a club like this, because it's so long, you want to keep a lighter grip because you have a bigger arc that you're going to make with this club. All right. So going forward, let's go to the other extreme, which is not your putter, but let's go with the shortest club in the bag that you actually swing and use, which is a 60-degree sand wedge. I carry a 50-degree, I also carry a 56, and I carry a 60. They all have a purpose. And a club like this, you're going to have a more firm grip on this club because it's a lot shorter and you have a lot more workability with this club right here, and your swing arc is not quite as big either. So this is a very good club to have. This is very important because this is your short game club right here. 75% of your game is played inside 100 yards. That's what this club right here is designed to do. And of course, I won't pull all the clubs out. But my bag is somewhat pretty standard. I go from my driver to my 3-wood to my hybrid, and then I got my 4-iron all the way down to my 9-iron pitching wedge, and then of course my sand wedges, and then my Scotty Cameron putter here. So that's the purpose of the grip and which club you're going to use. Any questions?
No.
All right, the setup. That's the basis of your swing. That's the most important part, because if you don't have a good setup, then you don't have a good swing. Plain and simple. The reason I pulled this tool out is because it's very handy in a lot of ways. All the way from swinging to putting. Like if I want to pull my putter out, well, let's just say this is the putter. If you want to look at your alignment in your putting, this is a good straight angle. It tells you if your feet are in line. It's like a train track. So when you take your putter back, you're going to open up because the natural movement of your body is going to take the putter away. A lot of coaches will say keep a closed door through. Some coaches say open the door and close the door. I like to open and close because the natural movement of your body is going to take you away from the stick, and then follow through with the long putt. It's going to take you even further away from the stick. As long as you're square at impact, and that's going to improve your putting. All right. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. We're going to talk about the swing, the takeaway to the top, down swing, and follow through. And then I'm going to go ahead and play this demonstration here. This is David Ledbetter, and this is one of his students. Let me find it here. Just a second.
Hello, I'm David Ledbetter, and welcome to my first in a series of instructional golf tapes. I'm probably best known for teaching and coaching Nick Faldo and some of the world's great players, but I spend a lot of my time teaching amateurs as well, and I get just as much satisfaction out of seeing an amateur improve his game as a touring professional. So in this tape, I'm
If you have any questions during the video, I'll be more than happy to stop it and answer any questions y'all might have.
Who has
Just
many
please
of the
let me know
common
if you
swing
need to
errors
stop
that
it.
I see in my everyday teaching. Now, obviously, he can't have all the errors known to golf, otherwise this tape would run for about 5 hours. But certainly, if you put yourself in his shoes, I'm sure you'll find, as we go through this program in a step-by-step manner, you will get a proper grasp of the golf swing. Well, good morning, Bill, and welcome.
Hello, David. Nice to see you.
It looks like we're getting a little break in the weather, so hopefully we'll have a good day for a lesson.
Should be a beautiful day.
Why don't you tell me, Bill, a little about your game and what you would like to achieve in golf?
All right. Well, I've been playing golf for about 5 years, and right now I'm playing off a 15 handicap. I've had some lessons in the past and picked up some good tips from different sources, but I feel like I'm a fairly inconsistent player. I hit a lot of good shots, but then I hit some terrible ones as well.
How many times a week do you play?
I play about twice a week.
And do you practice much?
Not that much, but I feel like I would make the time to practice if I knew what to work on.
All right, well, that's what we're going to try to do for you here in this lesson. We're going to give you a good concept of what you should work on, really break your swing down and then put it back together again and show you what you need to work on. Remember, you're not going to get this in one lesson, but certainly I think with a good concept of what you're doing, you can really improve your game. What I'd like you to do for me now, Bill, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like you to hit a few shots down towards the flag here, and I'm going to put you on video from a few different angles, and then we're going to go inside and analyze it. So just go ahead and hit some shots. Don't worry about me being here. Just relax and go ahead. Looking at video is the ideal way to learn because what you feel and what you do are normally two different things. So we can really analyze it down to the nth degree here and give you an understanding, and we'll probably uncover quite a few myths as well for you.
Well, that sounds terrific.
All right, well, let's get started then. My initial impressions after watching you hit a few shots, there is definitely some inconsistencies there as you described. Some of your shots were hooked, some were pushed, and look at your divot pattern. Some of your divots were actually looking to the right, and some of them you didn't actually take a divot at all. I also looked at the toe of the club and saw quite a few balls were struck off the end of the club towards the toe. A good golf swing, Bill, has good balance and good rhythm. Now, I see you have some problems in this area, and your swing doesn't flow as it should do. And overall, I would say mechanically, it just looks like your arms are too much in control of your swing. We're now looking at your address position, which we will go into some detail in a few minutes. But I want you to really focus your attention on what the club, the hands, and the arms are doing. In the first move away, we can see how your hands and arms have really left your body and rolled the club back inside. We can see how open the club face is, and also the big gap that's been formed between your arms. As we look at the next position, the club has continued to be rolled away, and the club is on a very flat plane at this point in time. We're now at the top of the backswing, where the club actually is aimed well to the right of the target or across the line. The club face is hanging down in an open position, and your left wrist is also cupped in a concave position. The arms, in actual fact, have lifted from the previous position to get the club to the top. On approaching the position just before impact, where the shaft is parallel to the ground, we can see that the club is approaching the ball on a very inside path. We also see a big gap formed under your left arm. Impact. Bill, here we have a telltale position. What's happened just after impact, and certainly the club face is the right hand and right forearm have really rolled over the left forearm. Well, here's a very common finish position, Bill, that a lot of amateurs have, that very high finish. And the club is really hanging down your back there, and your arms are a long, long way away from your body. We're now going to analyze the swing from face on, and looking at your address position once again, we'll now get into the next position. The 8 o'clock position. The club head has certainly been rolled inside and in a very flat position. And look at the distance between your hands and your body now. Left arm is now parallel, and it's very easy to see how flat a plane the club is on. You can certainly see here, Bill, how much you've got the club across the line and pointed to the right of the target. This is the all-important pre-impact position, and we can see that the club head has been released a little early. That's the old casting or throwing sensation that people talk about. We can also see how jammed your right arm is into your body there, and how low your right arm is and how high your left arm is appearing at this point. Here you are at impact, Bill, and this is a classic position that many amateur golfers get into, where the hands appear behind the club head. I call this position, after you've struck the ball, the 4 o'clock position, and we can certainly see how the hands have rolled over one another in order to square the club face off. Your finish position, Bill, the club is hanging way down your back there, and your arms are very, very high away from your body. Well, Bill, remember, we're only analyzing at this stage. We're not correcting.
Well, it seems like we have quite a bit of work to do, David.
Now, let's have a good look at the top of the backswing position here, Bill. And if we go from the ground up, we can see your left foot is off the ground, your knees are almost touching, and your right leg is very straight. We can also see that your hips look like they've gone back towards the target, and you have a great big turn there, a huge turn. In fact, I think if I tried to do that, I'd be in traction. Certainly with your hips facing the target or leaning towards the target, there's too much weight on your left side at the top of the swing. At impact, you can see how your right foot is flat on the ground and your lower body has, in actual fact, slid forward. And see how tilted your upper body is. You can certainly see how your spine is tilted away from the target. Left shoulder is very high. You can certainly get some back problems from that position, Bill. Look at the position just after impact. Your right foot is still on the ground, very flat-footed there, and still hanging back with a lot of weight on your right side. Look how high your left shoulder is, still in a very tilted position. Now having a little look at your finish position, you can see how locked your legs look, very stiff down there. Your left leg is absolutely straight, your right knee is not touching your left knee certainly, and it looks like you've stood right up out of the shot. Now looking from down the line here, we see how the right leg is very straight as we observe from face on. Left knee is starting to shoot outwards, and have a look at the left shoulder, how it's going out towards the ball. Very flat shoulder plane at this point. Now we can see the straight right leg, can't we, where the left knee is shot out towards the ball. In your top of the backswing position here, we can certainly see how straight your right leg is and how much your left knee is shot out towards the ball. Notice the gap between your knees. Your shoulder plane too is also fairly flat at this point. As you come back into the ball, we can see how flat-footed you are, and your legs look very locked at this point. The target they're aimed. Well, there's a good view of your finish, and you can see how you've stood right up out of the shot there, and you look very tight and tense. This is a very good angle to view your top of the backswing position from, Bill, and look how straight your right leg is. It really points it out, and your hips going towards the target. Certainly can sense a lot of weight on your left side here. Look how your upper body is hanging behind your lower body. Your finish position is going to look a lot different to this, Bill, when we finished. In analyzing a golf swing, Bill, one of the things I check on is how you maintain your angles during the swing. Now, the angles you set for yourself at address should be maintained. As you can see, I've drawn an outline around your body, and look how your angles change during your golf swing.
All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video there. And I'm going to kind of recap on everything that he's saying. Let me go back to my slideshow here. A lot of people are more tangible in understanding ideas and concepts, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all a handout and kind of finish off what David Ledbetter was talking about. I call these the 7 deadly sins of golf right here, and the first one is going to be hooking help. That's for you, Raquel, Nelda, Robert Allen. Actually, let me keep that one, Robert.
All right.
I don't think you can do two things at once. All right, the first one here is hooking help. This is going to be your faults and fixes right here aspect. What Ledbetter was talking about is he talked a lot about how the divots that were taken, how the divots looked. He talked about the high finish and etc. A lot of the reason for the hooking is that's part of what I use this for. I use this for all my drills, as I said before. You want to look at your posture. You can also use this if you don't have, like, well, if you can use your golf club, of course, but if you have the stick, you can always look at your posture and how the angle of your body turns. Another aspect of this handout here, if you look in the very back, we have avoiding the sclaf. And what the sclaf is let's say you're getting ready to make your swing this is your swing on parallel. Your back's to the target. When you make your follow through, your belt buckle should be facing the flag stick as well, or your target that you sought after. So scalping is whenever you're moving away from the target, but you're at a slant. And when you get to a slant, that's when you lose your spine angle. You're not moving around your spine. Okay? So you're dipping your shoulders, and when you're doing that, you got to compensate when you're coming back through. So that's when you scalp, and that's when you take your club and you dig it into the ground, because your body only has one way to go from the way it started, and that's back the other way. And that's when you dig it into the ground. So that's what that tool is good for as well. Topping the ball, slicing, shanking, pushing and pulling. A lot of that has to do with it as well. The main thing with the hook is when you're coming through the ball, you're coming down too far to the inside, and you're going through and around, and not at the target. That's for hooking. Now when it comes to slicing, you're doing the exact opposite. When you're coming down, you're coming over the top instead of the inside. And when you come over the top, your body has to react and come down this way, because there's only one movement from top to bottom in the finish. And that's how your body works. So when you're coming through out to in, and that's what makes your ball slice that way. Also, when you hit a ball, take a look at your divot. Your divot will tell you what your ball is doing as well. It's very important to keep your clubs clean once again so you can see the ball marks. So hooking, slicing, and of course the shank. The shank is whenever you hit the ball off the hosel. That's done the same thing as a hook, but you have the club face wide open and you don't close the face. When you don't close the face, it hits the hosel. That's what causes the shanks. Topping tears, that's the same thing. Topping the ball is whenever you're coming down on the swing. Instead of compressing the ball, your hands get too far ahead, therefore going over the ball, and what you do is you hit a line drive, and that's how you top the ball. And I think that just about covers all what I call the 7 deadly sins of your swing to troubleshooting. You can push and pull the ball as well. That's kind of like your hooking and slicing as well. Pushing and pulling is mainly when you're working on your putting. It's when you go to the right side or the left side of the hole.
Thank you for showing us all that, so
Yeah.
we'll know what to expect when we get out there.
Anybody have any questions at all?
I think you wrapped it up pretty good.
What was
All
the
right.
hosel and
The hosel is this part of the club right here. That's the heel and that's the toe. That's the hosel right there. A lot of people hit it off the hosel right here. Or you can hit it off the heel as well. Or the toe. It just depends. But that's what that tool right here is good for. Your stick. I use that for so many things, and a lot of golfers carry that in their bag too. It's good to have. All right. Everybody, thanks for stopping by and
Well, thank you.
listening to my material.
All right.